In this lesson, you will have a better understanding of how existentialism philosophy can contribute to the educational experiences, helping students develop into authentic, responsible, and self-aware individuals. So let's dive in and explore the fascinating world of existentialism philosophy in education.
So let's start with the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to first discuss the history of existentialism, second, identify the chief exponents of existentialism and their contributions, third, define the meaning of existentialism, and last, explain the implication of existentialism in education.
This is the history of existentialism philosophy in education. Existentialism as a philosophical movement emerged in the 19th and 20th centuries, primarily in Europe. While it is often associated with prominent thinkers such as Søren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Martin Heidegger, existentialist ideas have influenced various fields, including education. Existentialism philosophy in education has a rich history rooted in the works of influential philosophers and educational theorists. It emphasizes on individuality, freedom, and personal responsibility, has challenged traditional educational paradigms and influenced the development of more student-centered and holistic approaches to learning.
We come now to the 7 chief exponents. First, we have Søren Kierkegaard, 1813 to 1855. Second, Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche, a German atheist, 1844 to 1900. Third, we have Carl Theodor Jaspers, a great psychologist, 1883 to 1969. Fourth, we have Martin Heidegger, a great philosopher, 1889 to 1976. Fifth, we have Gabriel Honoré Marcel, 1889 to 1973. And sixth, Jean-Paul Charles Aymar Sartre, 1905 to 1980. And last, we have Albert Camus, 1930 to 1960. Søren Kierkegaard, 1813 to 1855, Danish Christian philosopher, the father of existentialism, felt the individual was responsible for giving life meaning and living that life passionately, focused on subjective experience of humans rather than the objective truths provided by math and science. So, Søren Kierkegaard was born on May 5, 1830 in Copenhagen, Denmark, Norway. So, he died on November 11, 1855 at the age of 42. So, Kierkegaard was a Danish theologian, philosopher, poet, social critic, and religious author who is widely considered to be the first existentialist philosopher. He wrote critical texts on organized religion, Christianity, morality, ethics, psychology, and the philosophy of religion. Also, the displaying of fondness for metaphor, irony, and last, we have the parable. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche, 1844 to 1900, one of the founder of existentialism, he challenged traditional ideas about morality, religion, and human nature, and emphasized the importance of individual freedom and self-creation. Will to power, notion of amor fati, which means the love of one's faith. So, he was a German philosopher. He began his career as a classical philologist before turning to philosophy. He became the youngest person to hold the chair of classical philology at the University of Basel in 1869 at the age of 24. But resigned in 1879 due to health problems that plagued him most of his life. So, Nietzsche, born on October 15, 1844 in Rakhine province of Saxony, Prussia. So he died on August 25, 1900 at the age of 55 in Weimar, Saxe-Weimar, German Empire. So we come now to the third chief exponents. Carl Theodor Jaspers, 1883 to 1969, was a German Swiss philosopher and psychiatrist. Existence of philosophy is the way of thought by means of which a man seeks to become himself. Carl Theodor Jaspers was a German Swiss psychiatrist and philosopher who had a strong influence on modern theology, also in psychiatry and philosophy. After being trained in and practicing psychiatry, Jaspers turned to philosophical inquiry and attempted to discover an innovative philosophical system. So, he born on February 23, 1883 in Oldenburg, Germany. And then he died on February 26, 1969 in Basel, Switzerland. The fourth chief exponent is Martin Heidegger, 1889 to 1976. A great philosopher, a father of existential phenomenology, he focused on the concept of being or the Dasein, exploring the fundamental nature of existence and the meaning of being a human. So, he was a German philosopher who is best known for contributions to phenomenology, hermeneutics, and existentialism. He is often considered to be among the most important and influential philosophers of the 20th century. So, he born on September 26, 1889 in Baden, Germany, German Empire. Also, he died on May 26, 1976 at the age of 86 in Baden-Württemberg, West Germany. Gabriel Honoré Marcel, 1889 to 1973, was a philosopher, drama critic, playwright, and musician. Also a Christian existentialism, ontological mystery, broken world. So, Marcel emphasized the importance of personal relationship and human connection, highlighting the significance of love, loyalty, and devotion in our existence. So, Marcel was a French philosopher, playwright, music critic, and leading Christian existentialist, the author of over a dozen books and at least 30 plays. Marcel's work focused on the modern individual's struggle in a technologically dehumanizing society. So, Gabriel Honoré Marcel was born on December 7, 1889 in Paris, France. So, he died on October 8, 1973 at the age of 83, also in the Paris, France. Jean-Paul Sartre, 1905 to 1980, in 1945 adopted existential term to describe his philosophy. Major concept of his philosophy was freedom and responsibility. Famous dictum was existence precedes essence. So, he was a French philosopher, playwright, novelist, screenwriter, political activist, biographer, and literary critic, considered a leading figure in 20th century French philosophy and Marxism. Sartre was one of the key figures in the philosophy of existentialism and phenomenology. His work has influenced sociology, critical theory, post-colonial theory, and literary studies, and continues to do so. So, Jean-Paul Charles Aimé Sartre was born on June 21, 1905 in Paris, France. So he died on April 15, 1980 at the age of 74, also in Paris, France. So we're here to the last chief exponent. We have Albert Camus, 1930 to 1960, a French philosopher and writer known for his concept of the absurd. Camus was an Algerian-French philosopher, author, dramatist, journalist, and political activist. He was the recipient of the 1957 Nobel Prize in Literature at the age of 44, the second youngest recipient in history. His works include The Stranger, The Plug, The Myth of Sisyphus, The Fall, and The Rebel. So, Camus was born on November 7, 1913 in Mondavi, French Algeria. Also, he died on January 4, 1960 at the age of 46 in Velliblevin, France.
Let's come now to the meaning of existentialism. So when we speak existence, it means your presence, you are alive. So when we speak about the essence, it means your purpose, your function, your significance, or your importance. So when Sartre said that existence precedes essence, he means that your presence comes before your significance. The person has to experience life first. The person has to walk through a lot of path first before he would know his real essence or his purpose. That is why this philosophy is known to be the philosophy of subjectivity, because it believes the power of man to create his own life. A philosophical approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent, determining their own development through acts of the will.
According to existentialism, existence is always particular and individual always. My existence, your existence, his existence, her existence, and the existence is primarily the problem of existence. Example of its mode of being. It is, therefore, also the investigations of the meaning of being. That investigation is continually faced with diverse possibilities from among which the existence. Example, the human individual must make a selection to which he must then commit himself, because those possibilities are constituted by the individual's relationship within things and with other humans. Existence is always being in the world. Example, in a concrete and historical determinate situation that limits or conditions choice.
Let's come now to the implication of existentialism in education. It is a teaching and learning philosophy that focuses on the student's freedom and agency to choose their future. That's why it is a student-centered approach. Also, existentialist educators believe there is no God or higher power guiding their students. We also have the three characteristics of existentialism. These are the existence, freedom, and choice. It is existence because it acknowledges the individual's unique being. Freedom because it empowers individuals to make choices based on their own values and beliefs. And choice because it allows individuals to shape their existence and create their own meaning and purpose in life. There are 7 goals of existentialist education. First is fostering unique qualities in cultivating individualities. Existentialists believe that every individual is unique and education must cater to the individual differences. Second is the development of complete man. Existentialists want that education helps a man to be a complete man in his natural environment. For the development of complete man, freedom is the essential requirement. Freedom is given to a man with a view to realizing himself and understanding his being. Third, becoming a human person. According to existentialists, one of the most important aims of education is the becoming of a human person as one who lives and makes decisions about what the learners will do and be. Fourth, making better choices. As choice determines perfectibility and happiness, education should train man to make better choices. As such, aim of education is to enable man to hammer or better choices in one's life. Fifth is the freedom of the child. A child have the freedom to choose their own learning path, their course, explore their interests, and engage in self-directed projects, allowing them to develop a sense of autonomy and personal responsibility for their education. Sixth, leading a good life. It is possible when an individual starts realizing his individuality and makes his or her own independent choices. Therefore, educational aims at teaching him to lead a good life with its noble obligation and summit. Seventh, fostering of values. The aim of education should be developing a scale of supreme values consistent with his freedom. The learners must develop a commitment to these values and act for them. So the four principles are the child freedom, self-discipline, flexible schedule, and democratic setup. That's what I've been telling again and again. Child freedom, because it allows students to have autonomy in make choices in their learning process. For example, a student may have the freedom to choose their own course, their own research topic, and decide how they want to present their project. In this way, they are able to explore their interests and develop a sense of ownership over their education. Second is the self-discipline. It refers to students taking responsibility for their own learning and personal growth. For instance, a class may set personal goals for their academic performance and actively work towards achieving them, demonstrating self-discipline in their studies. Third is having flexible schedule. Students have control over their time and adapt the learning to their individual needs. For example, a student may have the flexibility to choose when and how they study, enabling them to optimize their productivity and accommodate their personal preferences. Fourth is the democratic setup. In democratic setup, students are involved in decision-making processes and have a voice in shaping their learning environment. For instance, students may participate in class discussions, share their opinions, and collectively decide on certain aspects of the curriculum, fostering a sense of empowerment and active engagement in their education. So these are the roles of the teacher. First is to provide pathways for students to explore their own values, meanings, and choices. This means that teachers should create an environment that encourages students to think critically, reflect on their beliefs, and make informed decisions about their values and identities. Second, by providing as many options and choices as possible, teachers allow students to have a diverse range of experiences and perspectives. This helps students develop a broader understanding of the world and fosters their ability to make informed choices. Third, empowering students to determine their own values and identities is an important aspect of the teacher's role. Teachers should create a safe and supportive environment where students feel free to express themselves and explore their own unique qualities. Additionally, teachers can help students define their own essence by exposing them to various paths they take in life. You need to present them the life alternatives, the life choices, and from those choices, you let them choose. The teacher is not the one to choose for them. The students will choose for themselves. And last, create an environment in which students freely choose their own preferred way, explore their values, and develop their identities. By doing so, teachers support students in becoming independent thinkers and decision makers.
The learner takes on several important roles. Number 1 is take responsibility for their own learning. They are active participants in the learning process, engaging in critical thinking and self-reflection. Number 2, embrace personal freedom. They are self-directed individuals, taking ownership of their education and making choices based on their interests and values. 3. Define their own essence of meaning of life. Learners are seekers of meaning, exploring essential questions and reflecting on their experiences to find purpose and authenticity. They strive for self-awareness and authenticity, questioning societal norms and defining their own identity. Learners engage with others in meaningful ways, fostering dialogues and collaboration. The existentialist curriculum focuses on exploring questions of human existence, meaning, and individual freedom. It involves studying the works of existentialist philosophers and exploring existential themes in literature and other art forms. The curriculum also includes self-reflection and personal development exercises to foster self-awareness and understanding. Ethics and morality are explored to help students make well-informed ethical decisions, and essential psychology is introduced to understand how existential challenges impact mental and emotional well-being. Social responsibility and engagement are emphasized to inspire students to contribute their communities. These are the limitations of existentialism in education. Number 1 is lack of clear structure. Number 2, potential for individualism. 2, overshadow collective goals. 3, challenges in traditional educational system. And number 4, educational methods are impractical and inapplicable in an industrial society. The limitations of using existentialism in education include potential neglect of social and cultural influences, a lack of objectivity in evaluating knowledge and ideas, a lack of clear guidelines and structure for academic learning, and potential disorientation and nihilism for students, and a focus on personal meaning rather than practical skills and career development.